Our first contestant for the day.
We've given you a 40-cent raise, Peyton.
All right, we're here for another streaming session today. Let's see what we can do here. Um, let's take a look at first order of business is going to be looking at a few things here. Good morning, good morning. My green my green screen is making me green, man. That's what's happening. Yeah, for some reason it's making me green. I think it's a tint or what's going on, but yeah, it's not working today. Making me a little green. I think it's the light. Pretty sure it's the light or something. Yeah, pretty sure it could be the light. Um, all right, so this UJ is coming down. The funny thing is we have CPI here today. So let's see what US 30 is doing. Been watching US 30 for a while. Um, what I've seen is, oh,
I caught that move all the way up.
like this candle?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Because the futures market flipped positive, so it drove that.
Yeah, see what I've noticed is that it mostly moves pre-New York or
Mhm.
or after NYC open.
Yeah. So what I'm watching now is I'm watching these times right now. 8 a.m. Eastern, there's a push, and then at 9:30, just before 9:30, there's a push, and then there's a massive whipsaw right after 9:30.
Interesting.
Yeah, so if you're looking to grab those, but I mean, if you look now, the daily candle has flipped bullish basically. So in actuality, from a technical standpoint, we should be going up to 24, like, yeah, 380. But it's futures market, so whatever the futures decide to do, they're gonna do.
So things like CPI should affect it as well.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And the issue I found with watching US 30 is the fact that when news comes out, it follows the news report. So, as an example, last week with NFP was bad. It drops, right? So it pulls back, but then it pulls all the way back up again. Like it's very technically sound. It
Hmm.
doesn't really follow fundamentals unless there's a massive shift from the equity market. And right now, there's not really a massive shift in the equity market. It looks like the equity market right now is holding. Right now, the futures are holding at like 51 points above for market open, right? So that leads me to believe that this will move it. It moves similar to gold. It moves like gold in terms of the way that it moves technically, but it's a lot more. It's a lot more violent. Like I have my stop loss in at break even like almost right away because man, it
Yeah,
moves
because
like you're in a 20K drawdown like in seconds. Like holy shit.
yeah, like these wicks get big, like
Hmm, hmm.
especially in 30 minutes.
Yeah, you really need to understand technical analysis. If you don't understand technical analysis, it's not going to be a fun day for you.
Let's see what's going on here today. CPI later on at 8:30. Someone got in a GJ buy. I don't know. I was looking at GJ, and let's just remove everything and try to do an analysis here. 4 hour is bullish, 100%. 4 hours bullish. Went bullish from down to support. It's approaching a very, very, very strong resistance. This was identified yesterday in the Asian session around 133. This is where we took shorts yesterday. And we're coming back up to the same level. On the 1 hour though, it's also creating like a minor support. This might be another support on the 30 minute. So 30 minute is actually ranging right now. We're in a range on the 30 minute. This is a 26 pip range on the 30 minute. And if we break above this area, then we're going to come up to 133 again. So I think waiting to get up there, or like waiting for price to break above 132.750 would be a better idea than to take just blind buys. What's this chart? Let's take a look here. This is GJ 30 minute. Yeah, it's in a range. It's pretty. Oh, my entry was here. Stop loss on 30-minute candle. Take profit set here for retest of a new high. So what happened over here? Did it work out? Oh, it did work out. Nice. Yeah, that was a very nice move. Need to get out of this goat shit. Looking for sells around this. Yeah, this looks good. I'm probably going to look for sells once it breaks below, 132, 500, because then you have a clean move heading down. So that's what I'm looking for. Sacha. Hope I said your name correct. Sacha. Yeah, we'll be looking for a break below here. Man, for US 30 means I'll have to be up early, but it doesn't suit my time. So I guess I'll have to skip it.
You just go wait till like 7:30, 8 a.m. I mean, the 7:30 move seems to be very, very clean. It's also coordinated with how deep the futures market is moving. So this one, I was just up early, so I was able to catch it. It was actually pretty simple, that rejection on the 30-minute. It was the next candle you knew it was gonna move.
Yeah, see, when there's a pattern like this, when there's a support and there's a clean candle to the left, then you know it's just gonna go up. You just have to manage your drawdown.
Yeah, that's the toughest thing for me here. When I took the trade, this was where I was looking to enter. This was my stop loss. My take profit was actually up here, but I closed at 24,245. I was like,
Oh,
I mean, now that I think of it, I should have probably just moved my stop over to here somewhere, but I didn't know if we were going to break through this zone because this is, the higher levels. But I'm okay. I'm trying to get bigger trades with this US 30 now, but I mean, inside I'm doing it for the wrong reasons, so I just closed my trade.
you're trying to catch a marlin over here on US 30.
Yeah.
Man, remember those marlin days? Oh, caught a marlin
Yeah.
today. 100 pips. All right, what's this? Gold 4 hour. Ideally looking for a H4 to close above. That makes sense. Makes sense. Target is up here. Clean traffic. Yeah, the CPI too. So you might find CPI might move it. It's a high time frame zone too. It's going to be much stronger. GJ, wait for a bullish candle. Save TP. I think you caught this. Very nice. Now it's just in a range. All right, let's take a look at these charts here. Oh, first chart from the audience: GBP CAD 30 minutes sells. Yeah, I think if this 30-minute can close bearish, let's take a look here. I took a trade on GBP CAD yesterday. So yeah, I mean you're right. If it closes bearish, even if you look on the 4 hour just looks like it's going to come down and fill this wick. This setup is sent from heaven against after yesterday, because the 4 hour closed below the previous ones over here, and now this seems like it has to come down to fill this wick, which is going to be 20 pips. If you look on the 1 hour is bearish. 1 hour, the next 1 hour should continue bearish. If you look on the 30-minute, if this 30-minute closes bearish, even though it's going to close at support, I would anticipate that the volume from pre-New York should push it down to fill this wick here. That could be a possibility, especially with the 15-minute closing right now. You would expect, let's take a look at the 15-minute here. Yeah, you'd expect the next 15-minute to break this low and continue down to fill this wick. I think that could be a very good trade. Last night I took a trade just using your methodology, looking for your streams. Oh, thank you. Finally. So when this closes, the next one should respect the high of the previous 15-minute candle and continue coming bearish down to this next support. But if it breaks the high over here, then the selling idea is invalid. So that's why you have to really manage your risk there. How much range do you need to enter a trade? I think for me, a good range should be, I'd say like 40 pips, 45 pips. Because if I have a range of 40 to 45 pips, then, within that range, you can get like, a 15 to 20 pip move easy. Oh, we got Chris Monty here. Chris Monty broke his own record today.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
How you doing, man?
Monty, you broke a record today.
Dude, for real.
How does it feel?
Well, I don't know. To be honest, I didn't notice to start with, but when I looked, I was like, God damn.
You're like, whoa, what?
Yeah, I kind of visaged myself sitting in like a massive room trying to speak to these people live. Like if you're in a real room with these people, I was like, I can imagine how many people that is. It's mad.
Yeah.
Obviously, for a famous dude like you, it's amazing. It's just a natural thing, right? But
no,
yeah, it's amazing the amount of people. It really is. So yeah, it was nice to see. So nice progression. Real good. And we had a nice sell trade as well. So worked out nice.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at GP CAD. It should come down towards 1.72488.
We said about this morning. GCAD looks a lot cleaner than GJ right now. It has been for the last little while. It's quite nice.
Let's take a look at GJ. GJ needs to break this area to come down. Do you trade VIX 75? Nope. No VIX 75. Let's take a look at this chart. USD CAD. Yeah, I think you're selling a low. Selling a low at support. I don't know. I think a better position is going to be maybe wait for price to maybe create like a low, come up to create resistance, and then continue moving down. I think that would be a better opportunity for a sell. Because if you look at GP CAD looks much better because, the 15-minute is, once it breaks the low of the previous one, there's clean traffic going down towards 1.72480. But if you look at USD CAD is just making a low right now, so it's going to get pretty difficult there. Yeah, let's take a look here. See, it's creating a low. So when you're selling at these lows, there's a very high probability price might reject this area because candle is going to look left. And once candle looks left, it's going to see that, okay, my buddy's rejected this area before. So now there could be a probability that candles might reject this area again, which we don't know. But what we do know is that it broke the support, and created a low. So now your job is to wait for price to create some sort of a minor resistance in this 30 pip range and then take a sell. You know, because if you're trying to take a sell at the bottom, it's you're gonna have a bad day. I don't think it's gonna be a good day. How do I send a chart? I think you need to look at the description video. Let's take a look at this chart. Looking for buys above 132.760, sells below 132.500. This is excellent. You know, like when people send charts, I think this is a great example of how you should label your charts. You have your Val 86 has her resistance marked, support marked, most recent, and then once the support breaks, what's the next target? Once resistance breaks, what's the next target? That's it. Simple. You know, that's basically it. And then you just wait for candles to close, be patient, and you know, and then things go your way. Like if you look at GP here, it's trying to run down. 15-minute is also trying to run down. You have your stop loss up there, and then like you know your TP down over here. You're managing your risk. You know what you're risking here. So you know if it works out, you're gonna have a good day, and I'm gonna have a good day. And but if it doesn't, then we're not gonna have a good day. Good morning, guys, and Raja. Hey, I wanted to know if you trade your USD, if you could check it out. I'm sorry, you have to send a chart. You have to send a chart for us to check that out. Yeah, this should be the target for GPCAD. Price stays below 1.72 700. Yeah, that's it. 1.72 700. Good morning, gentlemen. I'm curious to know why you've chosen to look at US 30 other than US 500, S&P 500. Oh, I'm not sure. I think US 30 came to my plate first, so I'm going to eat it first, you know, and then S&P 500, never really thought about that.
It won't have the volume that US 30 has.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Let's take a look here. Actually, let's take a look at this chart here first. Bullish trade, your JPY, range, bearish range. Yeah, this is good. This is good. So if you break above this area, this is going to be, I think this is going to be the next target, 116,500. So like 15 pips away. Pretty small ranges here, to be honest, today. S&P 500. Let's take a look here.
Yeah, one has basically 500 stocks, the other has 30, right? So, I mean, which one do you want?
Yeah, I want the one which has less, so it's more volatile.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. When is the right time to take a trade on US 30? When is the right time? There's never a right time to take a trade. Trust me, if we knew that, like it would have been really nicer. It would have been amazing. What are your spreads on GPCAD? I think around 2 pips. 2 pips spread on GPCAD. Where do I send a chart? Second time on here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think if you scroll down, you'll see a video in the description. If you watch that video, you're going to know how to send a chart. Current 30-minute candle is about to close. It's going to close a really nice bearish candle, and we can expect the next one to keep dropping. See, now the 1 hour has broken the low of the previous 1 hour. So this increases the probability for price to continue moving down to the wick fill over here, the target. And then we can post this on Instagram and say, oh, look, wicks don't lie. Um, how would I know that a wick range to fill or a market exhaustion? Well, if you look over here, this is a great example, right? Let me just mark it up here. So if you look over here, we have bearish momentum, right? You had this candle coming down, creating a wick, it retraced, and then you had this bullish candle form. It kind of seems like that this bullish candle kind of tapped into the previous support it broke, you know, those wicks, if you see those wicks, it broke and re-tapped into those wicks, and then you had this candle form. Um, in the start it went bullish, but then it broke the low of the previous 1 hour candle, right? So once it's broken the low, you know, for price to move down, they have to make lower lows and lower highs. So it broke the low, which now increases its probability to continue moving down to fill this wick. So that's the entire idea over here. My entries are, what's my entry over here? It's 1.72689. Let me just put it up over here. 689, right over here. This is my entry here. My stop is above the previous candle. My TP is down over here. And yeah, that's my entry. So I'm expecting this 30-minute to stay bearish, and I'm expecting the next 30-minute to continue bearish to come all the way over here. Yeah, GG is still ranging. Ooh, we got a question. Does CPI usually have a big impact? Yes, CPI has a big impact because it's a high impact news. They're expecting negative 0.7. They're expecting bad numbers, and negative 0.7, they haven't expected it in a while. So I would say, you know what? The other thing I'm thinking is that all the news that we've had so far, all the news, they've been expecting really bad numbers, you know, and the numbers have been bad, but they haven't been worse than what they've been expected. It's like they know they'll be bad, so you know it doesn't move the market a lot. Like NFP, on NFP they were expecting negative 22 million, and it came to 20 million, which now seemed like okay, it's better than expected, you know. So on CPI as well, they're expecting negative 0.7. I don't think it's going to be worse than negative 0.7. It's going to be between, you know, negative 0.4 and negative 0.7. Because if it's worse, then market is going to move a lot. You know, so it's funny, like they're pricing in the news before it's already out. So it's pretty interesting. Let's see what happens. Something I realized just now. Could you look at this? Let's take a look at this. This is, would you consider this support as valid? Since it looks price made a fake out over here, 15-minute looks good as well. I would maybe bring it down a little bit, kind of like how I have here. This is what I'm going to look at. So what I look at where the candles are closing, you know. So candles closed over here. I don't look at this wick. This wick just means that once you have a candle that closes below this level, then there's a high probability for the next candle to continue down. So looking at the candle closes is really important. Should I stay out of this trade because of CPI? Let's take a look here. Should you stay out of this trade? This is rejection of zone, GPUSD, entry on close below. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a good. I think, yeah, I'm not gonna say, yeah, I don't think it's a good trade because your TP is below this support. I think a better sell is going to be below this area because, you know, like you have all this mess over here, this consolidation over here. So I think a better sell would be below this area. So you have this wick as your destination if price starts coming down, and then you have this clean area. So I think waiting would be very effective here. CAD JPY, clean traffic. What do you think about a sell stop here to catch a potential breakout in case a retest doesn't happen? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. If you're looking for a sell stop to come down, that's pretty good. Could work out. Let's take a look at the Chinese indicator over here for little shits and giggles. So basically, Chinese indicator is saying everything's ranging and the dollar is weak. And it's saying CAD is strong, pound is whatever. So yeah, saying everything is ranging so far. So we're gonna close this out. And yeah, that's it. That's how I look at the Chinese indicator just for 2 seconds. S&P 500 USD on for a little bit.
SPX 500, yeah, the CFD. There you go.
How much are these ticks? Oh, yeah. I feel anxiety when I look at new things. So see now at this point, this candle, the 15-minute candle closed like a bullish doji type candle. So I'm gonna close 50% over here, right? Because there's no point in holding a drawdown. It was also closed above support. The 30-minute closed bearish, so just being very cautious about the risk. So you need to really hammer down on your risk here.
I think you should be good. Reason being, oil is also starting to move heavily bullish. So that should increase the CAD dollar. I think the issue that you have is this range of wicks. It's gonna bounce around in that area. That is the problem.
Yeah, I closed out over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to wait for cleaner rejection. I think this area here is it's still being tested. So I think once we get a wick out of that area that forms like this, so once this wick comes out of this area here, I think you're in a safer position. This still can come back up into this area, almost up into this high over here.
Yeah, the only reason I closed or got more cautious was that this 30-minute didn't really close around here. If it would have closed here, I would have stayed in, but since it closed above, I just wanted to get out.
Yeah, it's gonna be, it'll be tough to trade this. Like a lot of pairs are ranging right now. And I think it is going to be tough. Like I was looking at gold. Gold is in a massive range. It's very tough to trade right now. Some people are looking at Euro USD. I mean, that the euro is strengthening, so it does lend support to continue to push up. But I don't trust Euro USD. I don't like that pair because the thing with Euro USD, it has the heaviest volume of all pairs. That's why it has usually the smallest spreads. If you look at from a brokerage standpoint, a lot of brokerages offer very, very small spreads with Euro USD because that is sort of the base currency in FX that has the most volume. So you're going to get always the cheapest spreads, but it's also one of the most manipulated currencies out there. So it's a very, very tough currency to trade. When any pair trends well, it does move. It'll move very well, but just keep in mind, Euro USD has been documented through history to be the most manipulated currency. So just something to keep in mind.
Do you still hold in any of the Dow Jones buys? Yeah.
No, I closed. My long-term target was 364, 24,364. I was in at 24,224. I closed at, sorry, I was in at 24,203. My stop loss was at 22,204. So I was in at 24,203, and I exited at 24,245.
It's moving. Looks like we could tap at least 24,360.
Yeah, I was looking at that. My biggest issue when it comes to US 30, or however anybody wants to talk about it, is the fact that it will whipsaw very, very hard. So when it whips back, as an example, like right now we're like 24,257. It can whip all the way back down to 24,240. That's a huge move.
Yeah.
That you've lost out on.
Yeah.
So that's what I don't like. Like, I don't like this, because now this candle here can play within this range and pull back down and around. But the moves, the points are a lot bigger, so your drawdown is very, very heavy. So I just rather not deal with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Ooh, this looks like it can push up further, US 30.
Yeah,
It will.
it's about to break.
Yeah, it's about to keep on pushing. But four more. So this is 44 points.
Yeah.
This is like 40 pips. Wow. Ooh, someone took buys on GJ. Interesting. Interesting. I'm waiting for that range to break on GJ. This candle closed bullish and looking for entry on the wick fail, stop loss under current candle. Yeah, it could work out. I'm just a little cautious about this whole resistance deal over here. I'm gonna wait for it to break. I'm gonna wait for. So I might use a buy stop at 132.805, but let's see what happens. Why do you not use moving averages? Because they don't help me in making trading decisions. Trading with Paul. Hey man. Yeah, it's in a 4-hour range. Once it starts to break above here, I think there's going to be a clean move heading back up to 133. Around, needs to cross above 132.805, 810 for a continuation. How accurate is the Chinese currency meter? It's just as accurate as the name. It's not accurate at all. Don't use that website for trading. Trust me, it's all a joke. It's a big joke.
It's Chinese, you know.
Yeah, Chinese indicator. Ooh, US 30 is moving here.
Yeah. My stop loss was really tight.
Yeah, it's gonna continue moving. Wait, what did you guys said? 300?
Yeah. Well, I'm expecting at least 24,360.
360?
Yeah, 365, 364.
Yeah.
I think that's far-fetched.
Oh no.
Yeah, I
No,
think
no, it's gonna go right now.
Two,
We're at
two,
300.
four.
24,360. Yeah, we're on our way. Trust me, this moves quick.
Yeah,
Already at
that's the
300.
thing with.
60 points is nothing.
Yeah.
I think 330, 320 would be.
Oh fuck! All right, semantics. Jeez.
Just
I don't
look at the at this heavy 30-minute candle. Man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So to get there, 24, 360, that's nothing.
And every time the Dow futures, like if you go to CNBC, if you open up the Dow futures, you'll see that now we're in positive territory. So the more that moves, basically, the like we're at plus 53 points. Once that starts to go to like 100, that will move the the index heavier.
Right, right.
See, now it's at plus 55, so you gotta harder push again.
Yeah. Gigi's also starting to move here. Beautiful.
There you have it.
Ooh.
EST Money.
320. Reached 320 here. It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
That's what I mean.
Right.
See, so 360 is not too far off.
It moved quick.
It did,
Yeah.
Mm.
Move
That's
quick.
that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
When you
If you
when
are in the wrong direction.
Yeah, wrong direction.
It's gonna
Oh.
hurt.
yeah, trust me, it's very, very scary.
Yeah, it's not one for me. It looks good though. If you can time that well, that's a good move.
Yeah, it's close 50% shadow.
Yeah, you should be good now for the rest of the way. If you just hold it now.
Yeah, GJ poked its nose above this area here. Should continue bullish here. This should be a 14 pip. I get 20 pips up there. Pretty risky here still. Mixed wicks don't lie, Raja Banks. Yes. Yes. Let's take a look at this chart here. This is GJ. Range alert. Stay out. Okay. Minor support. Session high. Waiting for confirmation above or below the range. Yeah, I think it should be good. I mean, once it comes above, 132.750 area, it comes into like vicinity of 132.800. I think it with the New York momentum, you should have a move going up to 133. Yeah. 133, and once it moves above 133, then we're breaking above this tight resistance that we have on the 4-hour around 132.940. So it needs to break above here to continue moving forward towards 133, 400, and 300. Let's see what happens. What happened to GP CAD? I honestly have no idea. Let's take a look here. Oh, GP CAD went up. See, that's why it's really important to close early. I really managed my risk here. I had a 4 lot open over here, and I think I lost like $188 there on the 4 lot. So really managed my risk. It's really important. Manage your risk and use a stop loss. Alright, let's take a look at the daily here. Yeah, if the daily can go up to fill the wick, that would be perfect. See, for the daily to fill the wick over there, we need a break above 132.750. That's what we need, because that daily wick fill is at, let's just mark it up over here. This is 133.200. Right? On the 4-hour, it's all the way up over there. On the 1-hour, it's all the way up over there. So it'll look good. So the bias, so this way you could say that, okay, once you break above 132.750 and come into like 132.800, then the bias changes to bullish. It's a bullish bias. But if it breaks below 132.500, then it's a bearish bias. So we kind of want to wait here a little bit. And then so it could continue up to fill the wick. Daily wick will be my runner. Oh, nice. Trading with Paul has the same analysis. Looks like I'm on the right track then. What's this? Ooh, Mac. Nice buys here, Mac. Very nice. I think you have the best positions out of everybody. Hey there, first time here. Just walked up the stream from Monty's. Awesome what you guys are doing. Lots to learn. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. It's got to be UK.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Man, I can't wait to come to England. Use my British accent, you know?
Yeah, it'd be good fun, man. You said the hotel said they're going to be open, right?
I don't know,
Possibly?
man. Here in like the hotel said they will open in June, but here in Canada they've like extended the lockdown into June.
Yeah.
So I don't know
I'm not
what the hell's
sure.
going on.
Yeah, I don't think many do.
Yeah, I don't think they know themselves what's going on.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I
There's
think
talk of things opening here a little bit, so we'll
yeah,
see. We'll see.
yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Ooh,
Either way, when you come, it'll be good fun, mate. I'm sure it'll be good.
yeah, it should be good. I was really looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Got my hotel booked, conference room was booked, flights were booked, everything was just ready, set, go.
Yeah, man. Same as that Miami trip. I'm still like, oh man, I wish I'd gone.
Nah, I think, yeah, that's true. I mean, it was a lockdown. There was nothing to do anyway.
Yeah.
What's this? EJ. Yeah, it looks good. I mean, buys. Should I hold? I mean, it's up to you. I mean, if you have a, if I see a stop loss on your screen, right? If I see a stop loss, that tells me that you know how much you're risking. So that looks good. I mean, you have a stop loss. That means you know exactly where you will exit. Once price comes back in this range, you want to exit the trade because then price may start ranging again. So that's a pretty good idea, right? But if it plays out, you want price to stay above this range and continue moving in your direction. So that's pretty good. So you just have to be confident. Whenever you take a trade, just be very, very confident in the trade. Just like even if it's a losing trade, right? So I took this GP sells here, right? I took GP sells and I was expecting the candle to close below here so that I can hold the sells, you know, but the candle closed above here. So that means the candle closed bearish, but it closed above support. So it didn't make any sense in my mind to hold the sells since it didn't close below support, closed above support. So I closed out my trade, you know, because I was confident that if I close my trade right now, I will reduce my loss a lot, you know. But if it closed below support, I was confident that I could hold it so that it's going to go to my target. So you have to be very confident in your trades. Never doubt yourself. The 15-minute has closed bullish on GJ. The 15-minute has actually closed bullish below this resistance. And if it stays bullish here as well, I think we have a very, very high, very, very strong opportunity that's going to continue moving bullish. So it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be a very good trade. I mean, if we stay above 132.800, we will have a very nice trade. This will be one of the best trades of the week over here. It will be a daily wick fill going all the way up to, like, you know, the 40 pip range. So in 40 pips, you can easily get like 20 pips, 20, 25 pips, you know, 15 pips, whatever you want to choose. But it will be a very good trade. I feel like Donald Trump right now. It will be an amazing trade. We will make a lot. What about GPUSD? Do you think it's manipulated pair as EU? I don't trade GPUSD, so I don't know. I think GBPUSD is harder to trade in the New York and London overlap because it's influenced by the pound and dollar. You know, for GPUSD to really move, you need one currency to be very weak and one currency to be very strong. That's what you need to do. Because sometimes, you know, when both currencies are weak or both are strong, then you'll find that the price is just going to range. So that's something to be careful of. Let's take a look at GPUSD here. Ooh, it's moving bullish here because the dollar is weak. The dollar is weak because, see now, GPUSD is moving up because the dollar is weak, and if you look at USDJPY, you'll see it's moving down, you know, because the dollar is weak. But someone can turn around and say, okay, well, if GPUSD is moving up, then GJ should also move up. That's not always the case because GBP JPY is only influenced by the pound. So you want pound to get stronger, which I think it will. I think it will get stronger, and it will be the most amazing trade here, continuing up to at least 133. I think in this case, your stop loss is going to be at 132.632. Yeah, 132.632, like almost like a 15 pip stop, and then yeah, you can ride it all the way up over here. So it's up to you. You can risk $10 on this trade. You can risk $20, $30. You know, it's all about the risk. Euro New Zealand. Waiting for a 30-minute bearish candle to close, take a sell. Yeah, Mark, I like this idea. This is kind of like the same idea I had on GP CAD. The 30-minute when it closed. It kind of closed like this bearish, and I was expecting the next one to continue bearish. So I think in this case, it's like one can really easily say that you can have a stop above the 30-minute candle. And you can anticipate this to close bearish and then anticipate the next one to continue bearish. So I like that idea. Very good. Very nice idea. How can we trust the GP CAD with no lower wick? I think you need to send a chart on what you think is going to happen, and then we can talk about GP CAD with no lower wick because it's broken all the highs. All right, what's this chart over here? This is, let's take a look here. This is, ooh, GJ. I like this. Yep, it should continue moving bullish. Looks like it's in a triangle. So once we break this triangle, this parallel triangle, kind of like looks like a isometric triangle, then it should continue moving bullish. That's true.
Parallelogram is a square.
Yeah, that's why I changed my wording. Parallelogram.
I was about to say, like, where do you see a square there?
Yeah.
Well, Raja, what's your lot size?
It ranges from 2 to 10. I hope that helps. Would you consider placing stop loss for GJ below the 15-minute candle to take a better RR? No, not really, because 15-minute is weak confirmations. Weak confirmations. So you need a strong confirmation. A strong confirmation is on a 30 minutes. So see now, this 30-minute is still, it's not looking good because it's closing below this resistance. What do you think gold is going based on CBI numbers? Can you tell more about CPI? Yeah, CPI is expecting to be bad, so we're going to see what happens. Ooh, someone donated 3,900 COP, whatever that currency is. Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Made some money. Alright, someone's in gold buys. Gold buys. Oh, nice. You caught this move into the range. Price stepping up, retesting the low in the 15. Yeah, I think that was a good retest on the 1 hour too. Yeah, right there. Oh, very nice catch. Man, someone caught this really nice. Ooh, COP is Colombian peso. Oh, thank you. Colombian peso. If the CPI is bad, how does it affect gold usually? Gold will move up if the CPI is bad. So you know when you donate here on YouTube, these funds, all this money, it goes towards a non-profit organization. YouTube donates it to a non-profit organization, and everyone laughing that it's just $1. Man, it's the intent that counts. You know, you guys haven't even donated $1, so I don't know why you guys are laughing. Why do I love this channel so much? I don't know. What might be? Oh, GPCAD cells. Let's take a look at GPCAD cells.
People always love to play with that. You can't sell based on that. I mean, it's you have to literally wait. What I'd be waiting for, this area here, I'd be waiting for a rejection out of that area.
Yeah.
To say that this is your reward and this is your risk means nothing. You have to wait also too for where your candle's going to start for this to make sense. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's why I closed. I was really expecting, it's really important to look at the candles. I was really expecting this 15-minute candle to close bearish. Because if this would have closed bearish, the next one would have gone down 100%. But since it closed this way, I just decided to close my positions.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have very good ideas when they're trading. Like a lot of people mark up their charts really well, but their execution is poor because they're worried about missing this move here. And I think as a trader, if you're worried about missing this move, then the move isn't big enough for you to trade. Because really you might find that effectively this now is your range, right? So this here is your whole entire range now going forward, right? So anywhere in this area here, you can have rejection. So you have to be cognizant of that. So now when you start to look at your risk versus reward, this range here, this range is very, very tight. Oops. Range is tight. That range is very tight. The idea behind when you do take trades, you want a wider range. So when I say the range here is tight, I want a wider range. The reason being, and I've explained this previously, is because we're never going to get a perfect entry and we're never going to get a perfect exit in the long term. In a vacuum, you might be able to do this. So if we took this trade 100 times, how many times would this be 100% perfect, right? Probably, I would say maybe 20% of the time, right? So now you have to start accounting for margin of error. But if your range is only 30 pips or 20 pips, that margin of error now starts to decrease because you're not going to get a total of 30 pips. You might get 26, right? And you say, well, that's not a big deal. Well, it is a big deal in the grand scheme of things because that's 4 pips you missed. But you accounted for 30, you basically used your risk to reward for 30. You didn't do that. So that's why when you work this through, I rather have, if we're doing 30 pip range, I rather say I want 10 pips out of the 30, because that's only 30% of the move. And that allows me a margin of error, right? It allows me a bigger margin of error. Maybe I get a bad entry, maybe I close early, but I get 30% of that move or 40% of that move, which was less stressful than trying to collect the whole 100% at that point. So when you break down and you manage your trades, keep that in mind, that your range is there to define your trade. It's not there to be the be all end all. Like, it's not to say, hey, I'm going to make 100% of the money on 30 pips. It's not. It's to define where your trading area is going to be and where you're going to execute. Because like I said, as retail traders, we don't know where exactly this candle is going to close or this candle is going to close. We can only anticipate based on the data that's presented to us in the charts. So don't get overzealous with those kind of ideas. really, really focus on just trying to get parts of the move. Obviously, if you get the whole move, it's great, but don't bank on getting 100% of the move. Use the range that you build here as an example as room for margin of error.
All right, let's take a look at this chart here. This is, would you be concerned that this resistance would get in the way of buys? No, I'd basically be looking to secure profits around this area. That's what I'm going to looking to do. Like if this 30 minutes closing bullish, I would expect the next 30 minutes to continue moving bullish. So that's where I would be securing profits and then letting a runner run towards the daily wick fill. See what this pair is doing. Oh wow, it's still continuing bullish. Yeah, I think you guys are right. It will probably go to 24360. Damn. Yeah, GPJPY will continue moving bullish. It should continue moving bullish. Let's see what I can risk over here. Let's risk 5. Let's do this. How do you cross the street? Oh. Shouldn't GJ 132.900 be a strong supply zone? Does that affect the pending buy trade you have in mind? No, not at all. I mean, my idea is on the higher time frame, based on the daily, it should continue up to fill the wick. So if I measure this, this is around 40 pips away. So within those 40 pips, I believe I can get maybe 10, 15 pips, 20 pips maybe, you know, the runner can go to 20 pips. That's what I believe. You know, so on the 4 hours bullish, that's awesome. 1 hour is bullish, 30-minute is also bullish, 30-minute closed bullish. You know, so now there's a very high chance that this 30-minute should continue moving bullish if it respects the low right over here at 132,640. So what you're going to do is you probably want to put a stop loss below this area and really manage your risk, how much you're going to be willing to risk on this trade, and anticipate this 30-minute candle to continue moving up to 133. You know, but at the same time, you're going to keep in mind the 15 minutes, because if the 15 minutes start closing bearish in this area, then you may want to start to use some risk management and start closing, you know, like 50% or 25 or whatever you want to close. But that's the entire idea, for it to continue moving bullish, because your daily 4 hour, 1 hour, 30-minute, 15-minute, they're all bullish. You know, and 30-minute close above this area, so it just makes logical sense. There's a higher probability that it should continue moving up to a, you know, 133 area. Look, this GJ tanked yesterday night. Yeah, we're focused on right now, not yesterday. It did tank yesterday night. I caught this trade right here. This is where I caught this. Right here till around over here. 132,550. Wait for NY open question mark. Oh, that's up to you. Put up your trade on so everyone can take it. No, it's a test day today. It's a test of the nerves day today. Let's see here. All right, what is coming in over here? We have have you ever thought about leaving a stop loss at the original place instead of break even and always get stopped out? Yeah, I mean, I get stopped out. I get stopped out a fair bit, and that really doesn't affect me, because I mean, if you're getting stopped out, that's for a reason, you know, because now if you have a position running, you know, and if you secure profits, let's say you had a one lot running, and that position ran for like 10 to 15 pips. So yeah, 10 to 15 pips. And then you secured, let's say, 0.8 lots. And now you have point 0.2 running and you put stops at break even. That means now you have a free trade. You have a free 0.2 trade running, because even the worst that's going to happen with break even, it's going to stop you out at zero. That's it. I mean, me, I put it right at break even, so I lose a little bit of spread, like 1 to 2 pips. That's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. But I think in my opinion, putting stops at break even is the best way to manage your risk. If you're afraid of losing, and I don't want to lose. Like, we're here to make money. We're not here to lose money. So when you lose money by not putting stops at break even, or when you lose money by really increasing your stop losses or even removing them, I think that's a very bad idea. You shouldn't do that. What up, guys? Is this thing on? Yes. The lights are working. Yeah, see this 15-minute? I'm really looking at this 15-minute candle, because if this 15-minute starts breaking the low of the previous 15-minute, then I might close. I'm going to close 50% at that point, because it's really important for you to really, really manage your risk. So that's something I've been working on a lot, to really manage risk, because for price to continue moving bullish, you need candles to make higher highs and higher lows. Like, look, we had a low over here, we had a higher low, we had a higher high, we had a higher low, the high was still there. I mean, it's just whatever. And then you want this candle to respect the previous candle's low and then continue moving bullish. But if this candle breaks the low of the previous candle, that's where you have to make a conscious decision that, okay, do I want to close 50%? Do I want to secure something before? Because if that low is broken, then the probability of the next candle to continue moving down becomes higher, which means your drawdown can get higher. Which also means that now maybe you have an opportunity to, like, maybe get like a bigger loss than what you intended to. So controlling your losses, I think, is key. That's why I'm just gonna watch it over here. What's this chart? This is GU. Waiting for this candle to close bullish in 1 hour above the zone to take a buy. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. I think this range is going to be really important, because you have CPI coming too. So who knows whether price is just going to stay below it and then move after CPI or at CPI. So that's something you have to keep in mind with this trade. Oh, see that? It's breaking the low of the previous 15-minute candle. So this is where you really have to manage risk and say, okay, maybe you want to close or 50% or whatever. That's why stops are really important. See, it broke the 30-minute low as well. Yeah, I took 2 losses today. I'm done for the day here. Trade 2 GJ. GJ buys. Okay, let's take a look at this chart. This is consolidation. Yeah, it was a little risky. It was a risky. When I took these buys, I knew I was stepping into like a risky position, but I was using my profits from last night. Yeah, so from profits from last night till today, I'm up $118, and I'm going to call it a day over there. $118 in positive. I think that's pretty good. Let's take a look here. This is UJ 15-minute, waiting for some sort of retracement. Yeah, I think you might get that move with CPI. Yeah, I think it might come with CPI. So I have to wait for CPI. Ooh, nice. This is a very nice position. I think anyone who had a buy from down here, I mean, you had a very, very good position if you had a buy from down here. Yeah, took 2 trades, 2 losses. It is what it is. Um, yeah, really not happy about this lockdown extension. Was really looking forward to do a bunch of things. Trump is also beefing with China now again. It's crazy. One more trade when the market opens. No. No one more trade when the market opens. For me, I took 2 trades and had 2 losses, and my rules say that I'm done for the day. Because now if I try to take another trade, I might risk another loss. So it makes no sense in my mind to try to risk a third loss and be negative. I'm positive. I'm positive $118. Yesterday I was positive 3,000 something. So a positive is a positive. Even if you're positive by $1, $2, $5, $10, $100, you're still positive. You really have to end the day on a note that you won today. Imagine the amount of people who end the day in a loss, day after day, every day, just because they can't control their emotions, they can't control their risk, they overtrade, they over risk, they can't get a grip on life. That's what it is. And when you really understand how you want to function in the market, man, your losses become smaller and smaller because you're just securing what you can. I mean, I've secured $118, man. There are people who are out of work. They can't even make that much. I mean, of course, someone pays for that, but like still, like $118 is $118. You're ending the day with 2 losses. Oh yeah, yeah, I know. But the profits um, from the Asian session. From the Asian session till today. Yes, one trading day.
Okay, you made money from the YouTube stream.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Raja never loses. He's the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That'll send everyone into orbit on the YouTube
Yep.
channel. Oh, this guy makes money even when we're sitting here. It doesn't matter what he does.
Yeah, I created another income stream out of nothing.
That's right.
I'm talking.
When is it possible to watch the Asian session with you? Um, Trading with Paul, he does the Asian session, so you can go watch those.
Look, now people are set off. They think the YouTube money is huge.
Pretty good.
Raja makes like $300 a month in YouTube money, and they think that's what he's living on.
Let's check out this chart here. This is S&P 500. Candle close in the wick on the top. There are wicks here. Yeah, I think it'll get a little risky. I don't know. I wouldn't take this trade. I mean, it can work out, but the candle close with no wick over there. Ooh, what's this? What do you think about putting a buy stop at 132.870? TP would be 133.870. 870. Yeah, I mean, could be good. I mean, now it gets a little dangerous, right? Because you had, I guess this resistance was playing a big role in this move up because you had a wick over here, and as candles came up, they kind of rejected at the same level. So I'd say if you can get a candle close above, I'd say like 820, I think it's going to be a better opportunity to take a buy. Yeah, above 820 would make perfect sense. Above these candles here, because this candle closed above candles to the left, I expected it to go up, but now you want another candle close above these 2 candles for it to continue moving bullish. So let's see what happens. Um, is it hard for you to emotionally, if you set targets like 200 and you come up short, let's say 118? It it used to be hard, it used to be hard. Like I remember this one day I was at my daily profit was like $980 and I wanted $1,000, flat, $1,000 flat. Yes, 1,000 looks good. And in chasing that $20, I ended my day with like $440 profit. So I lost 500 trying to get to 1,000. And after that, I did it again, like 2, 3 times more. And then I was like, yeah, it's not worth it. Because when you try chasing an even number, just so that you can say, oh, yeah, I got this even number, like let's say if your account balance is at 9,950 and you want to get to that 10,000 mark, and if you chase that $50, it doesn't really help. It very seldom it gets there. A lot of people are in here who have done that and they've experienced the same thing and they can testify to that yeah, normally it doesn't work. Please do this every day. Yep, we've been doing this for 2 years. GP CAD, ooh, came in the range, waiting for price to form support and candles to go bullish. Perfect. This makes sense. Do you have a set percentage you're willing to lose per day? I don't have a set percentage. I have a set amount I'm willing to lose a day. Um, Before I increased my lots to like 5 and 10, I was risking like 250 to 300 a day. Now my daily risk is like 500, 800 because I'm using larger lot sizes. I heard that trade management, risk management is key. Just started closing my trades earlier to cut my losses short. Yeah, that's true. If you cut your losses short, then that means you're letting your winners run. So, that way you keep your losses short. We're going to talk about this in detail on May 17th. Oh, someone donated $2. Thank you, thank you. Perfect. Make that $302 a month. All right, what's this chart here? Risk management learned from the goat and lamb. Got stopped out, entered a small lot, playing my profit on Asian London session. Yeah, that's perfect. That's actually perfect. Let's take a look at this chart here. GJ 5-minute. Price expected previous lows, close above. Yeah. Stop loss to BE, close some. It is what it is. Like, technically it made sense for next candle to continue going up if you look at it this way. But sometimes, price does what it wants, and the market does what it wants. In the moment we feel like it's unfair that it did that, or we try to see that, or if we try, like if this was me 3 years ago, I'd be like looking at this and I'd be like, why, how, why did it do this? What was the reason? But essentially there is no reason. Sometimes the price moves, it just wants to move in that way, and you just like, okay, well, I'm sorry, price, I got in the way. you know so I've come to the fact that, like, it's okay. I mean, some things you just can't explain, and that's life. Just like you can't explain the extended lockdown. It's just life. Ishrat, I think a better trade for sells is going to be below this support. This is going to be a cleaner, because just ask yourself. I think I should have asked myself this too when I took buys, but forgot. Um, if you take a trade in here, you have this range, these wicks over here, and then this range over here. You'd want to take a trade over here because it's clean traffic. It's much easier. From here in this range, I mean, price can start moving up. I mean, we have 12 minutes left here. In 12 minutes, this 30-minute candle is about to close, and it's about to close above the low of the previous candle. 15-minute is starting to move bullish here. So I think a better trade for sells is going to be below 132,500. Could you take a look at this? What's this? Does the technical analysis that you implement breaking highs for rejection lows work on high time frames? Yes. Yes, they do work on higher time frames. Technical analysis, they work on higher time frames. If you look on the daily on USD CAD, you can see that, okay, the previous daily candle closed bullish, but it's also tapping into a resistance here. It just means that it takes a little bit longer for your higher time frame candles to play out. Let's take a look at, ooh, UJ daily went all the way bullish to resistance. They do play out. If you look on the daily on GJ, I think this was the trade here where price formed support down on the daily support right here. Candle closed bullish on support, and the next one filled the wick. It just means it took a little longer because it was on the daily time frame. And the next one as well, it filled the wick, came up to like a resistance zone right over here. So even on the weekly, if you look on the weekly, before this happened, we were expecting this weekly to continue down to fill the wick, but it didn't. But it does play out like right over here. We encountered resistance on the weekly, and the weekly came down, filled the wick. So it doesn't happen as often, but it does. I've seen it happen. Just have to be more patient. But I doubt anyone trades off the weekly here. For GJ, do you think a buy stop above those wicks is a good idea? Yeah, I think it'll be a good idea. I think someone mentioned 132.870. I think that would be a good idea, 870, because that's going to be above these wicks and these candles here. It's going to be pretty good. So I guess I'm just going to be on the sidelines here, just looking at GJ. I'm not going to trade it. How long did it take you for not to trade based on emotion? I think since started doing the live streams. Yeah, I think that's about it. Started doing the live streams. And then I had myself to prove, and have to prove when I was taking losses, had to prove when I was taking wins. So I had to be transparent. Looks like Ted and Kervin were right. US30 will head to 24360.
That's a good move.
Yeah.
Did you manage to hold that, Ted, or did you get out on that wick back?
No, I exited at 245. I was in at 203. Yeah,
Oh,
I wanted technically 364, but I'm still not used to holding trades with US30. So I mean, I saw from a technical standpoint where we were going. Like 364 was very nice because that's the top of this area here that we're looking at right now. This area here, which because I looked at that because of the strong body candles that we have over here. Like that was sort of my indication that we'd probably do the same thing here, but I don't have enough testing yet to prove that theory. Okay. So I wasn't too comfortable. Like, I mean, if it shot up automatically, that's where I'd hit my take profit and close, but it just, I wasn't able to hold it. So.
Yeah, because that pullback was pretty deep on it. Well, it looks big on this candle that's just happened. So,
yeah. Well, these were 2 5-minute candles basically.
Yeah, it's mad.
That moved. So.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, you know what? As I get a little bit more comfortable with it, I'll trade it heavier. And I'll make more money with it. That's the advantage right now because it moves similar to the way that I trade gold. So I'm very comfortable with sort of how the price action lines up. But now I have to switch my thinking on the manipulation side in terms of how the equity markets are moving. Because as an example, last night the equity markets were negative. The futures market was negative. This morning it flipped positive. Right, so you couldn't really swing that because you get stopped out.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's just a smaller dynamics, really. Then that's all. Nice.
Would now be a better time to short USD CAD? That's an interesting question. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look. See, it's very tough to say because it's still at that support, because if you're shorting USD CAD, you're basically putting your stops at like I'd say 1.33, 1.39930, but it's at that support, you know. So I think it'll be a FOMO entry. I think a better short could have been after this candle closed bearish, because then you knew that okay, and the next one could continue down to fill the wick, and then you could have a runner, and we can continue down further. So it'll get pretty tricky here. But if it does continue moving down, then you know there's a very high chance price may continue down to 1.39650, because you know you have a wick there to the left, so that becomes your destination, and then further down towards this area here, 1.39550. GBP CAD. Ooh, let's take a look at this chart here. This is Euro New Zealand 15 minute. Broke support, made a low, okay, made a low, bearish 15-minute candle forming resistance. Retest broken support. Where's number 4? Potential runner. Ah, nice. Secured 60% at wick fill, secured 20 at second wick fill. Beautiful. Now your stops are at break even, and that's perfect. Very nice trade. And GJ is still ranging. I've been sending this chart a lot. Sorry for that. Yeah, let's take a look. Man, the YouTube comments move like 50 messages per minute. The fastest I've seen them move when we had that astrology lady, and when we had the llamas on.
Yeah, that was rapid fire.
Yeah.
There's no keeping up with them.
It's like when Trump goes live on YouTube and everyone just starts hammering the keyboards. If price stays above 132,820, I would like to see GJ go up to 132,960. Yes, that's true. That's what I would like to happen as well. You know, now this resistance has formed. This is solid resistance formed now. So I mostly trade GJ. So now for me, I'm just sitting on the sidelines because there's no trade. What's this? Ooh, S&P 500. Oh, it worked. Very nice. Very nice. Created a nice market structure, kind of like US 30. Yeah, it looks like US 30. Look on the 15 minute, and look at this. I know why GJ trade go wrong. When I take GJ trade with you, it go to stop loss always. Yeah. See, if you take all the trades with me, you're going to be in profits. But if you just take 1 or 2 trades here and there, then you know you break the probability, or you break the win rate. Let's take a look. GJ 1 hour support confirmed. I'm not sure if you're in the trade or what's going on, but looks good so far. I just put my stops at break even. See, the thing is, when you trade, you need to treat your losses and your wins equally. You know, like there should be no biased opinions when you take a loss or a win. It should be the same. Like I take a win, I'm like, perfect, took a win. I take a loss, I'm like, perfect, I took a loss. Because either I learned something from it, or if I took a loss, that means that it was managed. You know, it wasn't some crazy out of control loss. The thing with US 30 and S&P, they move in one direction and nothing can stop. Yes, that's true. They're like the big whales that keep moving. Um, what's this? What currency pairs do you recommend to trade with GJ? I honestly, it's totally up to you. I mean, I used to trade gold with GPJPY not because it's correlated in a way, but because like I've been watching gold for so long, so I decided to trade gold with GJ. And then when gold spreads got higher, yeah, excuse me. When the gold spreads got higher, I stopped trading gold because the cost to trade gold became higher because when the spreads are high, now it costs you more to trade. So I stopped it, and I only stuck with GJ. It's so that they go summon the topic here. Let's see this chart. All right, this is UJ waiting for R to close, looking for sells. Yeah, I think this could work. I thought you were already in the trade, and if that would have been the case, I think it would have been a very nice idea there. Since the dollar is just taking a beating here, dollar is falling. I mean, dollar is really, really weak. Why did you stop trading EJ? Because I started trading GJ. I started trading GJ. And GJ moves a lot faster than EJ. See now, oh man, look at this, Chris Monty. Chris Monty, if you look at this is what happened before a really, really strong bull run on GJ. You
It did indeed. So I
you
was eating
remember?
some crisps.
Yeah. Let
It
me
did
sh
indeed.
let me show to people who weren't paying attention.
hmm
Right here, this area right here.
Exactly.
This candle dipped down and then boom.
It broke the zone and went like a rocket, right?
Yeah, same thing
Mm.
here. Wow, look at that. Same thing, it's gonna go like a rocket.
That's potential.
Yep. Um, okay, no more charts are being sent here.
It's amazing when you can remember them things from the other day or last week or something, because you see it all the time. And then you go, oh, I remember seeing that the other day. And then you can go back and see, right?
You know why? Because you focus on
Exactly.
that just one pair, so you remember it.
Yep. So I was trying to explain that against maybe looking at 10 pairs earlier. How quick you can get up to speed with one pair if you're just looking at one pair.
Yeah. All right, someone sent a chart here. Let's take a look. GPAUD 30-minute chart waiting for support to be respected or broken. Then take an entry on rather buys or sells depending on price action. Looks good. GPAUD. I think this is a very strong support you have. This is an extremely, extremely strong support. I've been looking at the support, GPAUD. I even have it drawn. Yeah, right there. On the 4-hour, this is extremely strong. And if it breaks, we're moving all the way down to 1.8900. Wow, look at that. 1 hour closed bearish, closed below all the candles. Now it should stay below the previous high and then continue moving bearish. That would be a really good trade. People there in the chat are talking about FTMO. They messaged me yesterday. They messaged me yesterday saying this and that, and then they said, "Hey, why don't you take the challenge so you can get funded?" And I wanted to say, no, I fund myself. I already have funds, and I don't need funds. And then I invited them to the live streams, because there's a lot of bad air. There's a lot of negatives and positives, so I invited them to the live streams for Friday 9 a.m. Eastern as a guest to come on and have a very educated, unbiased discussion. And they haven't replied yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think people need to calm down a bit. Nobody's quote unquote bashing. We're asking questions that should be asked. People rake me over the coals for my brokerage, talking about B-Book, talking about this and that, and I have to answer to them all the time. So if I'm asking questions now, why is it that this organization doesn't have to come up with the answers. My two main questions are, where is the source of funding, and can you validate that it isn't coming from illicit sources? And why is your psychologist also your social media marketing manager? I think that there are some questions that if those get answered, you'll see a little bit of some holes in what they're doing. And I think if they don't have the proper answers, there should be some questions raised. And that's the only thing. I don't care about people getting funded. I don't care about people getting paid. Bernie Madoff made sure people got paid for many years until one day the accounting didn't make sense. So it's just proper questions, proper dialogue. I'm not arguing with people. I don't want to have extended discussions. Those are my questions, and I have a right to ask those questions. And I think as we do due diligence, that's it. If they answer the questions and the questions, the answers are valid, then there's no issue, right? I answer questions all the time about my platform, and the answers are valid. You choose to like it or dislike it, and then move on. It's not for debate. It's not for argument. It's just simple Q&A. That's all.
The other thing is there are a lot of people who are on the sidelines and they want their business, So I think it's going to be a really good opportunity for them to get that business as well. I mean, if I was running a company and if someone said, "Hey, come on the live streams, we have 2,000 people watch you, listen to you," I'd be like, "Oh, perfect. I'm gonna come on there and I'm gonna show everybody what I do, what we have, how we're successful, and it's going to be great." So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's to protect the community, because here's the bottom line. Any prop firm does not allow people to just randomly show up, and most prop firms will not ask you for an investment. And even though your investment gets refunded, that's not an excuse. Prop firms, they hire you, they train you, they bring you in, they start you with a small percentage, and then you gradually work up to bigger percentages. There were prop firms here in Toronto back in the early 2000s that now are closed, but that's what they did. They would start you off with like $1,000 account, and if you got to, this was trading in stock, and if you got to like 1,100, then they would add to your account. So it's just like I said. I mean, there's a lot of questions that should be answered, and there should be full transparency. That's all. And if they're not comfortable asking those questions, they're obviously able to say we don't want to answer them. But I mean, once again, then you do your due diligence and you make the best decision you can make with the information provided. That's all. But like I said, I have millions of dollars. I'm not setting up a challenge where someone can trade $100,000 of my money. I would never let anybody trade my money that has 2 months of demo experience and they've paid $500 to try. This isn't a carnival. I'm not a carny. I don't have popping balloons and you win a prize. And if you pay $20 to pop the balloons, you get a prize of your choice. We don't trade like that, and that's what that seems. So that's where I sort of have a contentious issue with that. And Uber is different than investments. Anyone can drive a car. It takes a little bit more skill to make sound investment choices. Driving a car is pushing the gas pedal. Picking up people is opening up your doors. These are mechanical ideas compared to actual critical thinking investment ideas. So let's try not to I wasn't advertising any service. There's no services that I was advertising.
Oh no, that was when I was promoting Trader Central Fund.
Oh.
But then we had a falling out, and then I realized that it doesn't go with my philosophies, so I stopped.
Yeah. Am I upset because Trader's Domain isn't on the list of their brokers? Not at all. My brokerage runs independently of any other ideas that I do have. It's just like I said. There's a few questions that should be answered, and that's it. If they answer the questions and people are satisfied with those answers, then you use them. I don't care what people do to be funded or to how they be done, but I mean, it's just like I said, there was a couple of things that stuck out to me that were red flags in my mind, and that was it. So because you're willing not to fund traders, they aren't legit? Well, no, I'm saying the way that they are funding traders doesn't make sense in my mind. So you're telling me someone who comes and trades a demo account for 2 months receives money to trade. Do you think that that is a validation of someone's trading ability? 2 months of a demo account? That's all I'm asking. If you believe that that is enough validation, then that's the proper route that you should take when it comes to funding your account. Just saying. I mean,
Ooh, no more charts being sent here now.
do you know they also have restrictions while you're trading? Yeah, that's fine, but you're still paying to do something with them.
Yeah, so I think GJ is going to continue moving here. I believe it's created a lower wick, and I also believe that it should not come below 132,620, and then it should continue moving bullish. I'm going to sit out on this trade. Ooh, GJ buys. Let's take a look here. Oh, wrong chart. Let's take a look at this chart here. This is, oh, wrong chart. Man. So many wrong charts here. GJ buy, can you look at this very pretty thing? Let's take a look at this. All right, yeah, this makes sense. This is exactly what I'm thinking right here. This is exactly what I'm thinking right over here. This to continue moving bullish. Exactly what I'm thinking. Because, you know, like now when you're looking at the candles closes, you're looking at, you know, these candles created resistance, this closed above. This candle here went all the way down and then it closed above the candles to the left. You know, this means that it has now broken up, it has retested, so now this candle should continue moving bullish now. 133. 133 should be the target over here. 133. We should get to 133.
Very nice.
Very
It's about
nice.
to move.
Yeah, it's a
This 15 minutes should close bullish above that resistance.
yeah. I mean, if this doesn't move up over here, I don't even know what GJ wants to do then. You know, because this like everything technically, theoretically makes sense for it to move bullish.
Yeah, the way it's moving is moving beautiful. I'm expecting this 15-minute candle to close bullish above 132.85.
Hmm.
If not, then I'm closing.
Okay, so oh. GPAUD is moving down. See if GPAUD starts moving down, it's coming down to 1.89000. This support is now being broken. This support was held all the way from 7th May. Even for 7th May was being held. I did analysis on this every day. Every day for the past 5 days, I did analysis on GA, and it was just like, wow, we're ranging, we're stuck in the support. The support is being held, and now eventually it started to break now. How will CPI affect GJ? I think it's going to have a little spike here and there. It's probably not going to move a lot. It's just going to spike here and there. The spreads are going to go up, and then that's about it. Someone sent a US 30 chart. Let's take a look here. US 30. Ooh. Continuing, looking for it to continue going up. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. Let's see where US 30 is now. Ooh, almost tapped 24350. The analysis was really nice on US 30. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do for the rest of this session is just going to watch CPI, see what it does, and then I'm just going to call it a day. Hello, Raja. Hello. Someone sent a chart. Oh, wrong chart. So this should be the target. Target. As long as price stays above 132,750. Yep, that should be the target as long as we stay above this area. Should continue going good. If an excellent setup comes after CPI, would you not consider a trade? No, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't consider a trade, even if an excellent setup comes up, because I have to follow my rules. This is the thing. You have to follow your rules. It's very important. It's very important for your psychology. It's very important for your own sanity. Because let's say if a very good setup comes up after CPI or later on, and you take it, and if you lose it, man, it's gonna really affect your confidence. You know, if you lose it, even if there's that 1% chance that you lose that trade, it's gonna really affect your confidence. So what's gonna be better is that if you just say, okay, you know what, I see this super good setup. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sit back. I'm gonna sit back and I'm just gonna watch it play out because I have to respect my rules. And if it does not play out, man, you're gonna be really happy. So that's what I do. What's the sell stops at 139,700? 139,700? Did you mean 132,700? Oh, USD CAD. Oh, USD CAD. 139. Oh, okay, 139,700. Yeah, that would make sense. Breaking the low over here, like 139,715. Look good. 710 for it to continue down. That's a good idea. There's CPI coming. There's CPI coming as well. So we don't know how CPI is going to move the US dollar. So that's a big question mark. What's going to happen? GPAUD is running down here. Do you mean you're not taking trades after news for the whole NY session, or do you mean you won't take trade right after the news? Oh, I'm talking about not taking another trade at all, because I took 2 trades. I have 2 losses, so I'm not going to risk another trade to have a 3rd loss, you know. Let's take a look at this chart. Oh, wrong chart. Wrong chart sent. GJ, it looks bullish, but remember we are daily resistance. Yes, Johnson M. Finanga. Johnson MP Nanga, the thing is that these resistances are meant to be broken, and then you have to ask yourself, okay, why would the resistance get broken? When? The only time when resistances or like supports get broken is when there's volume in the market, and so far we haven't seen volume in GJ, and like this time right now is when there's going to be volume in the market, and then you have news coming on, so maybe there's going to be volume with the news that might break that resistance, right? So even if there's resistance, you're looking at the smaller time frame candles, and you're looking to see that, okay, look, like they're closing bullish. If this 30-minute candle closes bullish right here above all these candles, then there's a very high chance next one is going to continue moving up. So whenever you're looking for a bias or whenever you're looking to enter a trade, be confident in that trade, because whenever you say but, then you're trying to talk yourself out of the trade. So I mean, if someone's looking for buys, you're waiting for this candle to close, basically. Someone sent a chart. Let's take a look. This is, oh, very nice. GU heading up. Beautiful. I blew my account today, sold US 30. Oh, shit. After I wake up, I see my account is drain empty. Oh, come on, Tanveer. Come on. That is scary. Good morning. Can you look at this trade idea? Yes, sir. Good morning. Let's take a look here. This looks like USD JPY waiting for bear to show movement. Yeah, I think you have to wait for CPI. CPI is coming on, and CPI is really going to move the US dollar here. Seems like we are kind of like retesting below this support around 107.370. See, this was support, got broken, kind of like it's doing a retest to continue moving down. So if you go to the 1 hour, we might see that there's a support down here at 107.200. So I mean, if now here's the thing, news respects levels, that's a very important thing. And this is a strong level on the 1 hour. This was a strong support, 107.380, and then this 1 hour kind of broke it, and now we're kind of like, it seems like we're retesting it to continue moving down. So if news pushes it down, man, it's perfect. Raja, just wanted to say my win rate went up to 40% after watching your streams and content. Oh, nice, Anthony Ramos. That is beautiful. What time is the news? I'm not going to answer that. My deepest respect, so thank you, thank you. Use 30, either double your account or blow it. Yeah, I mean, if you don't use risk management, you're going to blow accounts. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, some of you guys you still don't use stop losses. Some of you guys, you still use higher risk, and you still come on the streams here and you hear us say it every day. Just manage your risk. Don't overtrade. Don't over risk. You still do it. You still lose. I mean, I don't know what's going on.
Anyone who pays for this guy's service deserves to lose, and they have coming can't be bothered to find proper educator or spend money.
Yeah, that's fine. It's another person's opinion. That's cool.
I always find it's funny when people give their opinions and it's just some random name. Like, it's just shouting into the clouds.
Yeah.
I think that's the other reason why a lot of people get mad at either yourself or myself when we make an opinion, because we could technically influence a lot of people. And if that opinion doesn't match up with what they're doing or may poke holes in something that they're doing, they get really offended. I noticed that. That was another thing that I learned. That I have to be very careful the way I position myself, because I can offend thousands of people instantly by saying what I think. And it's like, well, you shouldn't be saying that. And it's like, well, it's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. I mean, I told like 10 people last week, you can just unfollow me. And the guy turned around and said, no, I like your trading content. I'm like, well, if you don't like my opinions, but you like my trading content, and it's like, all right, well, you have to deal with both.
Yeah, you have to deal with both. It is what it is. Roger, I got knocked out of the buy on GJ stop loss this. What knocks me one out of a trade, the wick or the body? I think both. I mean, I had my stop down here as well and I got stopped out too. Then I was like, oh, okay. Um, Theoretically speaking, if you had a long-term position open and you were up 50 pips USD CAD, would you close fully before news? I would move my stops. I would move my stops and I would secure some positions. Can we get the pizza here? Listen, if you want pizza and if you are in Toronto and once this lockdown is over, you can come and have dinner. Man, I'm dying for a good meal. Can't wait.
Yeah, maybe after the lockdown, I'll do a meetup at somewhere. Like book a restaurant and we'll do a meetup. But then actually they'll do social distancing, so they won't be able to do that.
Yeah.
It'll be like only like 5 people are allowed in.
On a table of 10, you can have 5 people. Empty seats between you guys.
That's exactly why FTMO is coming after Wicks Don't Lie. Well, no, because people don't understand that Rakeel likes to stir the pot, and people are easily offended. I saw a whole bunch of stories of people attacking Rakeel, and I'm pretty sure Rakeel didn't even see the stories.
No, I don't.
He
I
probably
don't even know.
deleted them again.
Yeah, like people message me, and if I see that it's the wrong kind of a message, and if they message me again, I just delete it without even reading it, and it just really gets them mad even more. Like here's this guy posting stories, and he's not watching our stories.
Yeah.
It's like when you take a loss in trading, you can't really think about that loss. You just have to move on. So that's how you got to treat life and people. Just have to move on. Wouldn't a buy on GJ be more suited when price breaks or closes above 850? Yes. Yes. So see now, previously this candle was bullish and now it's bearish. So, I mean, like you want a specific candle to happen. You want this candle to close above here to take buys. And then you want candle to close below 130 to 500 to take sells. We got news coming in 5 minutes. This is going to be a really, really high volatile news. So I'm going to bring up a guest over here, Gold, right next to UJ.
I'm watching gold right now. Gold is nasty.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I mean, I could see it. I think you can look for probably buys above 1704. And then you could ride it to 1709.
Wow, this thing reversed.
That's what I mean. It doesn't make any sense on why it reversed like that. Yeah. Buying over 1705. Yeah, 1705 would be a nice buy to 1709. I think that's what I'd look for at this point. This drop, I mean, it could be because of the incoming news, but I assume CPI data is going to be bad, right?
Yeah, let's see what happens. With this crazy news, shoot past your stop loss. Yes. Yes. If you're trying to trade this news, understand that you might get slipped a lot.
Don't you think they've already priced in CPI data? I think they have, and I think maybe that's the reason why we have this dip right now. Everybody knows it's going to be bad, so they pull the market back to go up.
Yeah, it's kind of like NFP. So technically it isn't being anticipated. I think they like the numbers they're forecasting really bad numbers intentionally because they don't want market to go in like a crazy, move. They don't want the market to have like a crazy move, because if you look at NFP, they had like negative 22 million and it came up to like 20 million, so it was better than expected. So here too, like if you look in the past, CPI numbers have never dipped below, you know, negative 0.4, and they're expecting negative 0.7. So I think that's deliberately they're doing negative 0.7 so that if it even comes to a negative 0.6, it's considered good.
I have a support right at 1700. And then I have my other resistance at 1709. And then I have a major support level at 1689. Those are the areas that I'm watching. If I do trade gold, I would wait for a rejection to the upside at 1700 for the drop down to 1689. That's what I'd be looking for. So as an example here, Raja has it up on his screen. I would want to see a rejection here to drive down. I don't want to take a trade when the candle looks like this, because this to me could be pulling back up to go to here. I want to see a bearish candle that looks like this. It's this, so that we have this body down. If this breaks down here, I expect it to come up a bit more over to here and then continue to go down in that case, because I don't think that CPI will have enough energy just to keep driving down the whole entire time. I think on smaller time frames, you'll have a candle that will have a rejection to the upside and it will continue moving down. I'm also very aware that we are in very strong range with gold right now. If you look on the hourly and you look on even on the daily, you can see the daily candles have a very, very strong range. So we don't really have any sort of breakout. This is very bad to trade in. This is very bad to trade in. It's not very nice. And you can see here that if this was an area of rejection, this candle's dipped down and sort of made its last touch to then go further up, if that's the case. So once again, just be very careful.
Yeah, nothing.
0.8.
Minus 0.8?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, that's bad.
I'm waiting for the core CPI. Wow, it was bad as well.
Core CPI is even worse. Yeah, gold
Yeah.
should continue moving bullish. GJ is crazy. Yes, GJ is finessing everybody today. That's why I stayed away from GJ after that. When you say you can get hit with slippage, is that for all pairs? Yeah, it's for all players, all pairs. You know, if there's pound news, you try to trade pound news, you might get slipped. You know, if it's for euro news, you might get slipped. So slippage can happen. I've gotten slipped. Fuck. 80 pips.
I've been slipped all over the place. It's like I was skating one day. I think, what was it, USD CAD? I got slipped like 50 pips or something like that, and I basically closed in a loss because of it.
I
That's
think
the worst price I could.
would it be one of the interest rates or something?
Yeah, it was interest rates. Yeah, I like literally had an entry, and it's like, oh, that was my exit. That's where it entered.
I think I took like 3 trades on USD CAD with news. All of them were losses. So I'm not taking any more trades on USD CAD for news.
I think when we talk about people not trading news, I mean, obviously I've traded news several times, but it's one of those things where you go and you do it, and when you get a win, you feel good that you got the win on the news. But then when you take a loss, you just look back and you're like, man, that was a stupid idea. Like, why do I keep punishing myself? And I've tried to get better with that now, not even really acknowledging news, sort of with NFP, just sitting back watching. Because every time I won trades, obviously I was excited that, you know, I beat the news. But then when I lost, I always looked at when I lost, it's like, that was just stupid. Like, just made no sense. I got slipped massively. The spreads widened on my entry. Like, just bad things were happening, and I'm just like, why am I hurting myself? And it's easy to get caught up with the idea that you have to trade every day, that you have to gain trade. Like, even now myself, I've sort of stepped away from not even trading during this session. Like, I'm going back to my basics, where if I find an opportunity, I'll take the trade, but I'm not worried about finding an opportunity during the live stream here. Where I think for the last maybe year, I was always conscious of, trying to help everyone and find an entry and find something for people. But now it's like, I don't really care about that either, because it affects me mentally as well, in terms of, if I don't find a trade here, I feel, I sort of feel that we've failed as people on the live stream, that we weren't able to find an entry. And now I've taken a step back, going, why am I risking my capital just to appease random people? Why am I putting myself out there if I'm not 100% confident? And if I'm 100% confident, I'll definitely give a full analysis and full breakdowns. But if I'm not, there's no point. I don't want to hear the rhetoric, but I also don't want to put bad habits in people that are watching the live stream. I don't want to give them bad habits. I rather give you an opportunity where I know that this will be 90 to 100% successful, because I've done it thousands of times, than to say, oh, sell USD, sell US 30 right now because I see on the 30-minute we're breaking down. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense. So it's just trying to figure out, what makes the most sense.
See, the news was bad and gold's still falling. That's some finessing right there on a Tuesday.
And it doesn't make sense, because US 30 is also falling at the same time again.
Right, what's this? This was GU. Wait for price to break, create a low buy. Would you wait for resistance to be broken or minor support to be formed? I think a minor support to be formed here would be much better, because if you have a support forming after a high is being created, there's a much higher probability it's going to retest the high. So I think that would be a better idea, to wait for a minor support to be formed. Yeah, GJ was a dud today. It just got stuck in the range.
Looks like the euro is gaining strength across the board. DJ is pushing, EU is pushing.
Oh, you're right. It is pushing up higher. Might come up towards 116. What's your thoughts on GPUSD? I think it should create a minor support. I'm lost with GP CAD. Have a sell on still. Any help, Raja, please? Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, I don't know. I exited my position, so it's up to you. I mean, if you can't manage your trade, if you can't manage risk, there's no point in opening a trade if you don't know where you're going to exit. Like, when you enter a trade, you should know when you're going to exit the trade, whether in a loss or in a profit. If you don't have that mapped out, then there's no point in taking the trade. So hope I helped you with your journey there. Right now, USD CAD is a great place to wait for resistance to be formed, right? Well, let's take a look at USD CAD here. USD CAD is basically Now it's entering seems like it did a fake out over here. See this area? I think it did a little bit of a fake out here to continue moving up because the 30-minute, it had a support right over here. It had a support, kind of broke down. This, you had to do a retest for it to continue bearish, but this one is going bullish, so there's a high chance it should continue moving bullish. What you consider as good risk reward for day trading? I think 1 to 1, 1 to 1, 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2. They're all go like there's no such thing as a good risk reward. A good thing is like whether you can have a profitable trade or not. That's like the most important thing. If you can really successfully have a profitable trade. It all it's also very subjective too. Subjective on like what session you're looking at, where price is, what the 4 hour is saying, or the daily, or the 1 hour, or what's actually going on in the charts. That's going to really identify. So, sure, Kusan. Wow, it looks like your GPY is actually coming up into another area of consolidation here to the left around 116,700.
Yeah.
When you guys don't take trades, it's super helpful. I also didn't see any good openings, so it's reassuring here you didn't enter. Yes, that's true. I mostly trade GJ, and I took one buy on GJ right over here when this candle closed bullish. I had confirmation to take buys. I took buys, and I lost the trade. And then I wanted to stay out, but then I was really hoping for some other candle to close bullish here too, to give me some sort of confidence that okay, now we're going to continue moving up. But this essentially was about to close bullish, but at the very end, it closed bearish. So, with that said, there was no trade with that either. So it is what it is. You can't change stuff. How long do you wait to take a trade if USD news happen 9 a.m. for example? Andrew Matthias, I think the question is you're sending. It seems like you're trying to solve a formula. So I think you need to send a chart. You need to send a chart on what you really think is going to happen, and so that we can do things based on that. Ba-bum. Can you explain how important are wicks in your trading style? Yeah, I mean, wicks basically they define destinations, I think. So, if you have a candle closing above, let's say 132,770 or 132, even 800, then if it starts moving up, then you can say, okay, perfect. Now we're going to come up to fill this wick over here. That's going to be the destination. But looking at the 4 hour here, let's take a look on the 4 hour. 4 hour is closing bullish. It's ideally, it's in this range. This is a really strong area to break, but I think we were trying to get a trade of the smaller time frames to try to get up towards 133, which is like 20 pips away. But it didn't happen. Yeah, I think it was a no trading day here. Took 2 trades, 2 losses. Is there a new rule on why not so many people get on the mic like the old videos? Just curious. Yes. Before there would be a lot of background noise, so just to reduce that, we basically upgraded. Looking back to the GJ buy, would you take that trade again on other days? I mean, the setup in general. Yes. Yes, I would take this trade. After this candle closed, I would take this trade, but I think I would be a little cautious with the risk. I used less risk, at this trade because of this consolidation here and this minor resistance. So the risk was contained. Got in GJ buy stops under 1 hour less candle. Oh, okay. I think you need to say that what price. How to overcome on fear? I don't know. I mean, if you're fearful to take a trade, just don't take a trade. When will increase your lot size next? I think I'm gonna increase my lot sizes maybe, I don't know, like 6 months from now, end of the year. Gradually, gradually. Like I'm still getting used to consistently using 10 lots. Like I switch between 5 and 10, 4, 2 sometimes. So once I get consistent in 10, then I'll start thinking about 15 and 20s. But so far, have to really get used to it. Hey, greetings from Norway. If a trade is halfway to your take profit level, do you adjust the stop loss to secure the trade or being in a loss? Well, it depends, depends what your target is. If my target is like 10, 12 pips, and if a trade is at like 6, 7 pips, I'm probably going to leave the stop where it's at, but if it reaches 10, 12 pips in profit, then I'm going to move my stops at break even, and I'm going to secure some positions. So that's my idea. Yeah, so this is a meat grinder zone here in GJ. This is where the meat gets grinded. Yeah.
If
Like
you're
Carol
looking,
Baskin, the grinder.
yeah, if you're looking at US 30, There might be an opportunity. These are a couple of confluences that you're going to look at. There may be opportunities above this level, above this level here. If we do break above, then basically going up to that level there, which is a lot, and then eventually I would say a long-term target up over here. So what I'd be looking for is, I see that on the higher time frames we're starting to flip bullish. On the 4 hour, there's a heavy push to the upside now. So I'd be looking at this candle here as my confluence to be like, once we start to move up, that would probably be a good target through these wicks over here. I don't know why I have the marker up, but the thing that I would be watching for with this is that the U.S. equities market continues to push. So I'd be searching for headlines related to the U.S. market, the equities. I'd be looking for things such as optimism, such as reports of the country opening, things of that nature, to then scale this up. I do think that we have probably a nice target to 24,480 to get up there. But once again, finding an entry at this point is going to be very difficult. So I would just really be careful. I think right now this area here is probably a little bit of contention, but long-term target once we break out of this area here will be 2480 right up over here. So this would be your target up over here. And where I'd be looking to probably take entries will be probably towards the second portion of the New York Open. So at 9:30 when the New York Stock Exchange opens, I expect to see a little bit of a pullback and then a drive for the rest of the day in terms of this push. So I'd be looking to take entries once the New York Stock Exchange opens, based on the idea that the futures market continues to go green. So right now the futures market is 86 points in the green. If it does flip to the red, I would be more cautious of not taking an entry at this point. But once again, the idea would have been probably to enter the trade down over here, reviewing the futures market, and then, you know, now your stop loss is over here and you can allow it to run further up. So this trade's a little late. So that's why I'd be looking more towards the 9:30 time period, 9:30 Eastern and 10 a.m. Eastern, around there, and trying to find an entry where I can hold at that point if I was going to trade US 30. Just notes for people.
I'm gonna wait to see how this 1 hour candle close, because the hourly looks really good. Look ready to grab to the downside. The previous support on the hourly candle is amazing, but I still wanna see deep down to grab more orders.
GJ, if this 1 hour candle close bearish, I will open a position on the retest of the resistance. I still think a better sell is going to be below 132,200. This area right here. Oh no, this area right here, 132,500. That's going to be a better sell. Oh, someone's got 2 wins today. Perfect. Do you think you were always meant for something like this based on the end vision and goal? I don't think I was ever meant to do something. Everything started happening, you know, with its, I mean, there's always a time and place for things, and you know, as I progressed, as I started to look at better ways to, like, you know, progress myself or better myself, things just started happening slowly and slowly. Like success, you don't get success handed to you. I mean, everyone knows that. I'm not going to talk about that. I mean, it just takes time. Just takes time, and at the end of the day, you just gotta keep providing value. Like if you look at my page, my Instagram page is built only on value, you know, like charts, information, videos here and there. So, you know, every now and then I post some money, but that's about it. Will you get into another businesses? Yeah, if I can find a way to reduce my sleep to maybe 3 4 hours and still be fresh, I might look into another business. But so far, I'm very occupied. Where do you see your trading in 5 years? I don't know. We'll see what happens in a year. Y- I'm more focused on what happens in a year. 5 years is a long time away. You know, things change in a year. Here's the thing. You know, no matter how many plans you make for yourself, life will have its own plan for you. And sometimes it's going to be good. Sometimes that plan is going to really test you. You know, sometimes that the life that the plan it has for you is really going to test your gut. It's going to test your spirit. It's going to test everything you have. You know, and you just have to deal with it. Like some people can't. Some people they can deal with it. You know, it's just how it is. Yeah, God life. Yeah, same thing. God life. You know, like there's a set plan for everybody. You know, so you just got to go with what's provided to you. How did you come up with the name Wicks Don't Lie? It was actually Ted. We were watching like you know candles fill wicks and this and that, and he's like, "Oh, look, wicks don't lie. It happened over and over again." And then it was like, Akira's hips don't lie. You know, that's where it came. Wicks don't lie. Shakira's hips don't lie.
Yeah, that was back many moons ago.
Yeah, long time ago.
It's funny when people start coming at me on social media when they've been on social media for like since like 2019 or 2018. I'm like, man, you got to build up some credibility first. Been here since 2015. Come on, let's not be silly about these things here. I'm gonna start doing what Raja does. Have all the message requests or the messages and post them on my story and then push delete.
Yeah, man, that really gets people going. Like,
Oh
god
yeah.
damn, people get really mad at that. Like imagine you send someone 6 messages and then you look at their story and the guy's like not even opening it and deletes them. You're like, what? Disrespect.
Yeah. That's like the when you that's like when you do those when you tag or you use what is it spray paint when you cross out some gang sign on someone's territory, it's a sign of disrespect.
Yeah.
When you get a response sent to you and you delete it, this guy's disrespecting me.
Yeah. Yeah, because people have to understand like trading. One thing I'm really thankful to trading is that it has really increased my emotional patience. Like so like when I get things like that, it doesn't really affect me at all to the point that I'm not even interested in reading. Like people send me messages all the time, like blame Forex. They used to send me messages. Sean Lee used to send me messages. I just delete them without reading. And it was just like, whatever, it doesn't really. When something's not important enough to your success, you just learn to choose to ignore it completely, no matter who that message is from.
Yeah, it's interesting though. I think because I'm old school in the way that I deal with people, I don't understand the social media, like how people can get offended when someone doesn't respond to their message or things of that nature. It's like we're all strangers on the internet. Like you choose people who you want to interact with. And I don't think people should be offended that they're not interacting on a daily basis with people. But I always look at that as just an idea that it shouldn't matter. Like if you're comfortable in what you're doing, you shouldn't really worry about what other people are saying. but it just seems like that's the norm nowadays, and it's easy to get caught up in. I've been caught up in it. I mean, there's like 10,000 memes about me now because I got caught up in it. But it's just, it was, like people turn around and they, start attacking you directly, or your personal life or your family. Like there's no defense to that. There's no repercussions. So I mean, you get upset, but now can't be bothered. I guess I'm too big to fail, so to speak.
Yeah, like I'm 33 years old. I'm going to turn 33 in May, and it just everyone's like at least 10 years younger than me, like 10 years
Yeah.
younger, 7, 8 years younger. So in my mind, it just makes no sense to even try to acknowledge that.
Yeah. At this point, I've got so many businesses. I've got so many things going on. I try and help people. If people don't want to listen to me, that's fine. If people want to argue with me about things, that's fine too. It's just, I've been around the block. And if I had somebody when I was in my 20s telling me in my 40s to like be aware of these sort of ideas because you've seen these things before, I would just be a little bit more cautious. I mean, you don't have to listen to me 100%, but I mean, it might be something just to think about. I mean, like, hey, that guy's sort of probably seeing a lot more stuff than I have, and it takes different forms in terms of, the way people market things, the way people talk, why they do what they do. The art of persuasion hasn't changed since the dawn of time. The way persuasion is done has. There's different things that people use now to push messages and narratives. And we just all have to be aware of that. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with marketing. I think a lot of people get offended when, you see people that are marketing. There's nothing wrong with marketing what you do. It's how you present what you do, and the idea behind why you're doing it could be the issue. Not marketing in itself. I mean, I can sell you a Lamborghini, but if the Lamborghini's broken and the tires are slashed, that's the poor part of the marketing. It's not me selling you the Lamborghini. It's just the way that the Lamborghini then is given to you, the end product. I think that's the bigger issue. It's not someone marketing. You don't have to listen to anybody. You don't like a commercial on TV, you change the channel. But it's just, I think people get swept up in that, and it's just more diligence required, more knowledge. And, as people get older, they start to realize, hey, you should demand more. Like you should, things evolve. What was good in 2016, probably not good in 2020 anymore. Like just evolve and understand those things.
Yeah, it seems like USD CAD did a little of fake out to do a little correction of this move down from earlier.
Raja low-key mutes Ted. Ted is never muted. Ted mutes himself. Advice for me that I'm 17. Well, you're 17. You should be finishing high school. You should also be going to university. If you're looking to be a trader or be in finance, you should be going to university for finance. Also study accounting, study international business, things of that nature. That'll help you. Finance will get your foot through the door in a lot of companies, and then from finance, you should be looking at taking your CFA, which is a financial analyst course. It's a 3-year course. You should be looking to take that to get your designation. If you are really ambitious, you could do an MBA / CFA course together. So that's your post-grad after university. They do a combination where you can get your MBA and your CFA at the same time. That's actually really good too. And then after that, it's networking. Try to get an internship with investment banks, do the coffee runs, mail runs, things of that nature. And then once you're in investment banking, build experience and then open up your own boutique firm. I think that would be the path. If I was back in my 20s, that would have been the path I would have taken. I would have gone into investment banking, but I would have learned investment banking so I could build a business for myself. I mean, I'm sort of in that stage now. It's just taken me 10 years longer than what I should have done. I should have had a boutique firm in my 30s, not in my 40s. So I think that's it. And why would you want to do accounting? Understanding the tax code and understanding how to capitalize on advantages the governments give you is a huge thing when it comes to finance. The best accountants in the world get paid the highest, and it's not because of the fact that they know more than the average person. It's because they know how to use accounting loopholes to your advantage, and they have contacts within the industry to understand what they can and can't get away with. You know, and I think that's where when you learn those things, it's very important. The end goal for anybody that's doing any sort of finance or accounting or any professional designation is to work for yourself. If you're a trader, you obviously want to work for yourself, grab investment money. If you're an accountant, you want to work for yourself, build out a firm. You never want to work for a large firm. You work for a large firm to gain knowledge and gain experience on how those firms compete and what they do to stay successful, and then you transition that into your own life and build things for yourself at that point. 23 is too late to go to university? No.
Oh, my battery is low.
When people talk about university versus college, once again, it's preference, but all you have to do is go on to a job website, look at Workopolis or any sort of job board, and type in the job that you want. What would you want to do? Do you want to be an FX trader, an equities trader? Do you want to be an investment banker? And just go on there and look at the qualifications and then see what it says and aim to put yourself in that position. That's all you need to do. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, if I want to be a doctor, I look at what requirements it becomes to become a doctor. You know, I can take college or university, but I mean, becoming a doctor means I think I need university and I need like a medical degree instead of, you know, just like a college degree. So you need to go there and just look at Workopolis and find what the descriptions of the jobs that you want to do, what that entails, and then just use that and build your path that way. It's just pretty straightforward, you know, and at the end of the day, you can learn everything now online. It doesn't mean that you're going to be able to get a job because you learned it online. Essentially, what a piece of paper, what a college and what a university degree represents. And this is something, if you have a pen or pencil or a piece of paper, or, you know, you can write this down on a computer. A university or college degree tells your employer that you were able to learn. Okay, that is the reason why they want a university or college degree. You can learn all this stuff online for free, But what the paper tells them is that you were disciplined enough to go and finish something, you learned something, and you were able to get that piece of paper. That's all a university degree shows an employer, that you were able to learn and that you proved yourself by learning. And you can agree, disagree, rant, rave, anything you want, but that's the only reason why to get a university degree, is so that you can show an employer that you were able to learn. I don't care that you can learn every single thing on YouTube, Google, Instagram, wherever you can learn, but your employer will always look for that piece of paper. It's just a fact of life. You got to get used to it. And you play the game. And like I've always told people, is you play the game and you know the rules of the game, and you learn what rules you need to follow and what rules you don't need to follow. And that's one of the rules that you have to follow to get a good job in the world, is a university degree. That's just life. It just happens. Yes, there are instances where someone falls, lucky and they get a job without that information. But if you look at the long term, 90% of the people that have good jobs have good education. It's just a fact of life. You have to get used to it. You have to accept it. It doesn't mean that you have to stay there. It means that you take advantage where you can take advantage, and then build something better for yourself, where you're not trapped, where you don't feel that you're worthless or you're not doing the job you want to do. But you have to follow some set of rules. It's just a fact of life. The more you buck the system, the harder it's going to be for you, because you're going to spend the next 2, 3, 4 years saying, I don't need a university degree. You're going to be 29, 30 years old, and you're still going to be working at part-time jobs, contract jobs, struggling, where you could get a university degree, go get that entry-level crap position, work your way up into like some mediocre position and have stability, and then focus on your passion. And from the ages of 25 to 30, build out that passion, leave your job at 30, and now you're free. And all you did was you just spent a couple extra years in school. That's it. I mean, and that's really all you need to worry about, is just give yourself options. Make yourself feel better to have options. Don't push yourself into a corner.
Yeah, I went through school. I did a bunch of jobs, and I think, yeah, I think those things really set me up for the mindset of good trading. Because things like when you're young, you really want to do well. You want to retire your parents, you want to pay off the house, you want to pay off cars and stuff like that. But it's going to take time. It's not going to happen in a year when you're young. When you're young, you have hot blood moving through your veins. You're like, yeah, I can do everything. I'm king of the world. But like it all. I think all those things to start happening for the most part, for like I think the 90% population, those things they really start happening when you walk into your 30s. Like it's very rare that a 20-year-old is going to start to do those things. It do happen. It does happen, but not for the majority. Like a very small minority percentage of the population that happens. But mostly everyone else, things start to happen when you go into your 30s. Like I now see things starting happening in my 30s.
Yeah, and it's very true. And I think people in their 20s have this feeling of like stress because they got to rush to finish things, and it's like you don't have to rush. I mean, technically, I only became successful when I was 34, 35 years old. Like that's when I defined my success, at 35. When I was in my 20s, I was just junk. I was working full time. I was just getting by. From the age of 23 all the way to 34, I was just getting by. It was only once I turned like 33, 34 that my life changed. And I think that's what will happen. You'll just grow with time. The thing is, your networks grow. The people around you also grow. Like, you have a group of friends in your 20s. You guys are all entry-level workers. When you're in your 30s, all my friends are vice presidents now of different companies. Like they're vice presidents of their divisions. They're successful. So it's easy now to talk to them, and like you go network and they're like, oh, I got this guy that does this. I'll introduce you to him. And it's because you've known them for 10 or 15 years. It had nothing to do with the fact that now suddenly they're smarter. They're not smarter. They were just in the game longer. That's all. And I think people just have to remember that. Like, you're going to find that you're going to have friends that are going to be successful accountants, successful lawyers. Like, I've got friends that are lawyers and accountants now that in their 20s, they were rejects. Now I use them because it's like I've grown up with them. It makes sense for me to use my lawyer who's a good friend of mine, because I know he'll fight for me, or he'll be able to refer me to somebody who is smarter than him.
All right, what's the time? 9:15. Let's see here. Is the purple woman learning trading with you? No, no, no. She's independent. Yeah, I guess that was it for today. Nothing really substantial happened. I know for a fact that GJ will run up later on, and then I'm gonna look at the charts of like in an hour and I'll say, oh yeah, see, happened.
Yeah, US 30 is going to do that too. US 30 will probably pop to 400 in the next 2 hours, and we'll be like, oh, but this range is nasty. This area
Yeah.
here, this is horrible. It can go all the way down to here before it goes all the way up. No good, no thank you.
Yeah, same thing with GJ, just stuck. This goat shit range here. This is just goat shit. A lot of people got stuck in here. Some people are still holding buys in the hopes that it goes up. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Come back at 9:55.
Yeah. Oh. Whoa. Looked like a dinosaur screamed over there. Well, little cats and kittens, Carol Baskin is gonna call it a day over here. Have fun and soak up the sun. Oh, looks like it's pushing now, but take care, everybody. See you tomorrow. How do you exit this? Oh, there we go.